Thank you. Okay, we're here on Tuesday, May 1st, 2018. Planning Board meeting. We have a short meeting. We have a short agenda. We were just came out of a joint meeting with the Town Board on looking at Goal 26, I think it was, of the master plan. Okay. In any event, our first item this evening is a resolution. This is the resolution for Majumbar Random Farms Subdivision Lot 102. This is an application for a site development plan amendment, stormwater pollution prevention plan for a swimming pool at 19 Random Farms Drive. Excuse me.
Hi, I'm Troy Wojciechowski, engineer for the applicant tonight. We don't have a plan for you because the technology is not working, but maybe we can get by without it. But I would suggest maybe getting your plans handy in case you want to look at anything. I think we were in pretty good shape last time we met 2 months ago. Some outstanding issues. We had to make some revisions to the coverage calculations, and we also had discussions about the proposed second-story addition on the house and the variances that will require. We took care of the soil testing for the stormwater management system. That all went well. Submitted an updated SWIP with those with that information in there. I did receive Sabrina's review memo today and went through it briefly. I think we're in pretty good shape. She did want us to do some cleanup housekeeping as far as the calculations on her coverage. I think we picked it up in one plan and maybe didn't do it on the bulk table, something like that. I don't think, Sabrina, you really had any outstanding
I did not know.
technical comments. She discussed the variances that we need. And I think, as we discussed last time, I think we're going to need a referral from the planning board. Is that right?
Correct.
Right, so if we
To
could.
the zoning board?
To the zoning board for the
right, just-
variances.
And we discussed that the issuance of the variances would be a requirement to receive
The condition.
final CO.
Correct, and then those just the footnotes in the conformance table for the signed plan indicating those variances.
Right.
So-
So we'll take care of all that cleanup stuff.
Yeah, and those are actually conditions of the draft resolution as well,
Oh, okay.
so.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And we reviewed Steve Coleman's review memo as well, and we don't take any issue with any of his comments. He has some suggestions to vary some of the evergreen trees
Right.
we're proposing, add a few more trees, so we're
Well,
comfortable
different
with all that.
species of trees, too.
Correct.
Right.
Those are also conditions in your resolution.
Okay.
Right.
Did Steve give us an actual count in terms of what he wanted to see for alternative species? You know, how many white spruce, et cetera, or others? Did he give a
I'm
count?
not sure if he
I don't
gave,
think he
I
did.
don't think he did give a count, but he put the onus on the applicant to make sure they provide the plan that addresses his comments.
Okay.
Yeah, so Steve can review that, and maybe we'll give him a call before we submit it to make sure we're on the same page as what he was thinking.
Sabrina, I have a question. We're going to taller green giant trees, and most of the time we say, well, the taller the tree, the harder it is to get them established. Is that the case here, too?
I don't believe so. I think that with the proper maintenance and commitment warranties and whatnot, that it's okay.
So, is that because of the species?
I believe so. I don't want to speak for Steve. Those are his comments.
Well, yeah, because my concern would be that, maybe if they're taller, then we need a longer maintenance program than 5 years.
That's up to the planning board.
Well, but we like to have the input to know whether it makes sense or not.
Right.
I can see if he's actively engaged in the town board and go ask him if you
Okay.
want. Do you want me to?
Sure.
Okay, let me see if he's in
Yep.
there, and I'll ask him that question.
Did you actually get the NOI out to the DEP yet?
No, that goes out once we finalize all of
Okay.
our plans, and I'll work with Mr. Cioli.
Water, he did do the stormwater deeps with Terry and
Right.
came out
Right.
satisfactory.
Steve mentioned in his memo that he was satisfied with the location and screening of the pool equipment. And I was going to ask him whether or not that was just screening for visual, but also is it placed sufficiently so that the screening from, sound from the machines is adequate so that, we don't hear it off-site?
Right.
Or it's below the
Yeah,
certain
I
decibels?
think last time we met, we talked about two preferred locations, and we put it in one of those two locations. It's kind of set back towards the homeowners association vacant parcel in the back.
Right, on that side?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's pushed back.
It's kind of
pretty
tucked
far.
in, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I think
Because
it's a
you were
good
going to put it,
location.
are you still putting it way down in that corner?
We had it
seems like here.
proposed right off the end of the pool.
Yeah.
I see it here now.
Yeah, we had it here last
Mhm.
time, so now we pushed it here because this is vacant, and these folks' house is up here as well as.
Is their house farther away than the applicant's house? Because, I mean,
I thought it
it's,
should be up here, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about two locations. One was discussion about a generator, and I think we're gonna get similar location.
Right.
Or,
If not on the same pad, I mean, close to the same pad.
right.
yeah,
Well-
I like that.
I actually had a thought about the location, and I apologize that I wasn't able to attend the April 3rd meeting, which I think is when you were last on the agenda. So, excuse me if some of this has been covered before. I noticed that the setback in the conservation subdivision is 20 feet, but in a more typical 1-acre situation with the pool, you'd have a 35, in 1-acre zoning, you have a 35-foot setback. And I'm just wondering, because I don't really know what's on the property, the property owner next to them and what they might plan to do in their backyard one day, whether that just can't be shifted over a little bit, a little farther away. It doesn't even be, just get 35, 40 feet off the, so you've got it right here, something around over here. Just, it's still far away from the homeowners and their pool, but it just insulates the next door neighbors, from the sound if they ever want to do anything in their backyard, back in that area.
I'm waiting for those ones.
Well, that's,
He was talking.
He's engaged.
He was
and the
talking.
other thing is, and I guess this is a holdover, you've got the pool equipment shown in two different, or at least the notation for pool equipment in two different places on each of the drawings, so it's a little confusing. So if it, I don't know, maybe it just needs to be removed. It's up there on each of the drawings.
Okay.
So Sheila, were you talking about having it relocated more toward the center of the property?
You just- I didn't, yeah, just,
Fine with us.
so it pulls back 35 or 40 feet
No,
from
I
the
agree.
property
Yeah,
line.
that was sort of the thrust of my comments,
Yeah.
my concerns.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna shift it a little more towards the center. Same distance back, but just move it over.
Let's
Yeah,
decide how
I
much.
That's a good point.
What's the number?
You want to do 35?
Or
Because that's,
35 or 40 feet, just to sort of make it more in line with 1-acre zoning setback.
so not less than 35 feet.
Not less than 35 feet.
He said that the 5 years is okay based on the scope of the project.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
If I'm correct about the setback in a
Setback, side yard setback for a 1 year,
1-acre zoning.
1 acre zone, typical is a 35-foot setback on
I
on
want to
side yards?
say it's 20 feet on one side.
1 acre?
1 acre.
Yeah, total of 50.
Not in a conservation zone.
It's a total of 50 and a minimum of 20.
20,
But
right.
isn't
Used to
that
be guy who had
that's a
19 the other day.
conservation zone
Right.
setback?
Is it,
I thought they were both staying on both sides. She has to go right there.
I can look it up.
uh-oh. Taking out the book,
Break that
not
up.
that.
It's in my memo, I am sure.
We're fine with 40, if you want to move to 40.
Okay,
There's a 20-yard setback requirement. It's currently 19.92 feet on one side where 20 are required, and then a 0.08 variance from the zoning board would be needed. This should be identified. And then also there's a 50-foot minimum for the total of both side yard setbacks. So it's on this property because of its conservation zoning. So the question would be an interpretation by the building inspector if they can combine that in one variance for the 50 feet and leave the side at 19.92. And do you know what I'm saying? Because right now at 19.92 plus what you have on the other side is 49 or 48 point something.
but
Well, I
Sheila
think
was
what
asking
Sheila,
about
yeah,
the
Sheila was
1 acre.
talking about the pool equipment and just trying to get a rough estimate.
If it were a generic 1-acre.
If it were a regular, right.
What would be the
Right, do you-
Yeah, so the
Yes,
R1A
35.
is
35.
35.
35.
On both sides?
Yes.
Generic.
I think so.
Yep.
So I'm suggesting, you go 35 feet
Not
back.
less than 35 feet.
Yeah.
And then the premises, because it's better screening for noise. And
Correct.
even though there's a road, there is a house on the other side of the road.
Correct.
I don't,
So,
so, with regard to the pool equipment, I was just looking for any detail. Is there a screen or a fence around this thing, acoustical, visual,
Just the
aesthetic?
the landscaping, I think. There's not a fence around it, right?
Or any kind of a acoustical barrier around it?
No, not typically. I think they're pretty quiet.
Yeah, we can provide the decibel levels if you'd like, but it's very minimal.
Yeah, I think modern pool equipment's not like, especially your pools.
All right.
Okay, so we're okay with that? Not less than 35 feet from the side yard? Okay. And we got Steve's input on the 5-year maintenance.
Correct.
Anyone else have any questions on this application? Refresh my memory, we've done everything on this, right? The type 2, we closed the public hearing. This is just a discussion on the resolution because we have these little changes. Okay?
It would have to be.
Forget.
Let's turn to the resolution, and any questions on the resolution?
I had a question on page 6, if nobody has one before that. On, in item 3, lines 32, 33, there seems to be something incorrect about the punctuation because there's something standing there that's not a full sentence.
What page is that?
Page 6. Line 32 and 33, as well as the calculation coverage worksheet contained therein. These coverage figures represent,
It should be an "and" as contained in the coverage calculations worksheet contained therein, period.
so the period missing.
Period. And contained.
and you mean, so.
Yeah, well, because on their coverage plan, they have the coverage calculation worksheet. So it should be, the sentence should read, the development coverage for lot 102 shall not exceed 7,328 square feet as identified on the coverage plan, sheet 9 of 9, is prepared by TW Engineering PC, dated April 6, 2018, and the coverage calculations worksheet contained therein, period.
Period. So remove the period after 2018 and put. it
Change
after
the
that.
as well as to and.
Okay. And then the other thing I had mentioned was that on each of the drawings, there's 2 notations for the pool equipment right now. One, I guess, where it might have stood originally.
Correct.
And then, so that previous notation needs to be removed from each of the drawings.
Correct. And then you'd want to add a note based on the limitation that you set with a 35-foot setback for the pool equipment
Right.
as a condition.
And to be clear, we're going to be seeing the pool equipment down in the southeast corner of the property. Right? That's the desired spot? Yeah, okay. So that's the one that's going to remain on the plan. We'll take the other one off. Okay.
I've got something on 7. It's actually number 7 on page 7, split rail fence. Shall be labeled on, this is very picky, but it should be labeled on the site and planting plans. It might be clearer to say the site plan and planting plan.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else, anything?
I have a question on page 9,
Mm-hmm.
G. And I know that we had discussions about drip lines and canopy coverage and all that. In this one, it says that layer of existing trees shall be added to the planting plan to make sure that no new trees or shrubs are planted within the drip line of existing trees. And I understand no new trees being planted within the drip line of existing trees, but I don't understand the restriction having shrubs planted under trees. That's understory.
Yeah.
Is there a reason, does anybody remember a reason why this was a provision here? This,
The shrubs use up water. They might go to the root system of the tree, is what I remember, but that may not be all of it.
I think that, I mean, I don't have a problem letting it go for this application since Steve isn't here, but I'd be interested in revisiting that as a general principle, just to understand it better.
Yeah, before we submit to Steve, I'll give him a call and talk to him about that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else, anything? If not, is there a motion to adopt the resolution as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Great,
Very
thanks.
good.
Thank you very much.
And are you going to have a motion to refer the application to the zoning board for the variance,
Okay,
for the formal referral?
okay. So is there such a motion?
Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Jennifer, is that just not a matter of course?
If absent, so under New York
Unless we
State
caught it.
town law, absent a referral from the planning board,
Oh, I
they
remember
have to,
this.
they have to submit their building permit application, get denied, and then submit their application to the zoning board.
Well, so the building department would catch it.
Yes,
Yeah.
But why is it a referral from us then, if they're going to do it anyway?
because you approved a site plan requiring the variances.
Okay.
This is not the right spot, though. We gotta get
Great.
it with these issues.
Okay. We go now to our second item on tonight's agenda, and that is the public hearing for the Unger Surf subdivision, lot number 7. This is an application for a subdivision amendment for clearing and grading limit line amendment, 16 Surf Lane.
He's denied it at the BP.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, staff. My name is Mike Testa. I'm here tonight with Mr. Unger, and tonight is a public hearing with regards to our previous application that we had last month. At that time, there was some comments that staff had that we needed to address before we come back to modify the plan, and we have made those modifications to the plan that you have in front of you tonight. One was we had a modify the name and change the map of amended clearing and graded limit lines, which was done. The Westchester County Health Department legend and associated signature block has been removed in accordance with that recommendation. And the original and existing and proposed clearing graded limit lines have been made to be more clarified on the drawing. And as a result of that, those changes have been done onto the plan. In addition, there was a requirement that the declaration that is required be worked on with counsel. Applicant's counsel, David Steinmetz, has been working with Jennifer, and I believe they've worked out the details on that. And I believe that was the extent of the questions that we raised, and we'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Before we go any further, because this is a public hearing, we should have a motion to open a public hearing.
Okay. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Comments from board members, questions? Anything from staff? Are we
Nothing.
set? Okay,
All good.
okay. Any comments from the public? Mr. Unger, suppress the public here. There are teams of people trying to get in here, yes. Not seeing any, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think the public hearing lasted less than a minute.
And
It
that's
might be a
enough.
record.
That is a
I'm
new
timing you.
record.
It was less than a minute.
Okay. We have a resolution in front of us. It's been prepared. Questions, comments on the resolution? Have you seen it?
I have not.
The only question I guess I had
Here.
on
Yeah.
the resolution is it talks about, no, it doesn't talk about it. There's a, maybe we have to reopen the hearing. Why is there a fence line in the wetland setback?
That fence, it's a chain link fence, has been there since 2005. There's no change was proposed. It's a 4-foot fence.
Is that the swimming pool requirement, the New York State requirement for the pool?
No.
It's down the hill, but it's certainly, I believe, was there originally when we were doing the infiltrator system that was down below. It prevented anyone from going down there, and it's been there since that time. There's been no change to it. I could actually, you can't even see it. I could show you photographs. This is a It's totally screened by the woods, which is 5 acres of woods.
Yeah, my only concern for bringing it up is if, given this, someday someone might decide to clear cut everything down there and put grass in. And if the fence is there, on the wetland setback line, then they don't get into any trouble for doing that, because they can't get to it without blowing the fence up. I mean, it could be moved so that it comports more with the wetland setback.
Yeah, and that's consistent with what we've been doing in terms of demarcation of wetlands and wetland buffers. I'm not sure, how far does it go? I can't
Oh, yeah.
really scale it myself.
Okay, the scale is, you could, let's see, 1 inch equals 30. All right, so there's 30, 60, 90, 120 feet that would have to be moved.
I don't,
So you're talking about this portion right here?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's,
To move it, we'll move it.
so can I ask about the,
well, what are we gonna do about this first?
well, no, I'm going to ask about it.
Oh.
The fence, does it serve a purpose, or is it just a relic from the past?
It's an innocuous relic.
Does it create a hardship because of all the trees or
No,
anything like that?
it's been blended into the hillside, which is the downward slope. It's at the toe of the slope, and it's in the middle of the so-called the woods that were left after the infiltrators were put in.
Well, we, as I think Bob just said, we often look for some devices in order to mark boundaries that we want to protect. I guess if you want to keep the fence, you can keep the fence, but that doesn't change, I think, the desire to mark the boundaries. If you still are interested in having a fence, apparently you don't care whether it's there or not for your own purposes.
The primary purpose at this point is just keeping deer off the property,
Well, 4-foot fence won't do that.
marginally.
Not any deer I know.
All deer.
Send your deer to my house, okay? So I guess, I don't know where I'm going with the recommendation here, but it seems to me that there is a way to sort of make these things work together. If the fence is serving a purpose, then perhaps it can be moved to be coincident with the wetland boundary.
We want to keep
Or
it,
the-
I mean, if you guys want us to move the fence and we'll make sure it's inside the wetland, we have no problem doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
And just to be clear, we're talking about the area of the 90 down in this area.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
correct, a 90-degree
Okay.
sort of triangle there.
Yeah.
And is the fence and the gradient limits, you're okay with leaving it alone, Dick?
I'm okay with the others. I mean,
Okay,
it's just
just
this
checking.
one that,
The one that's in the wetland,
in the buffer.
in the buffer?
In the buffer.
Buffer,
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Okay,
that's not a problem.
okay.
So I guess we would add that as a condition in here,
Not a big deal.
Yes.
or 10, I guess.
Yep.
Not a big deal at all.
I'd recommend that they move it and get a survey located, show it on the plat, or show it on the map,
Can we just,
so I know where it is.
Well,
How am I gonna know where you put it if you don't get
I
the
mean, it's
survey?
scalable. Meaning, we could physically scale, this is a scale drawing, we could scale that dimension. It's just this, so we could go right to that corner, whatever that dimension is, and up.
none of the other fencing is I think
Does
it's
that one-
okay.
Does that, now do you wanna move out? I was just
This-
trying to figure out what you're talking about so I can,
This
before I
little
approve it.
fence right here, this little, it's about 100 feet.
Mm-hmm.
This
It's just-
triangle
I think you guys
portion.
appreciate just calling Johnson, saying, do this amendment, print all the copies, that's $1,000 for Johnson to blink.
I mean, it's, we could scale it, Bob. I don't know if that's,
Yeah, okay, give me a sketch how you plan on moving it first.
Yeah.
I'll let you work it out.
okay.
They'll save you the money for the survey, that's
I can
fine.
certainly show exactly where it's going to scale.
Yeah,
I'm just concerned with the way it curves, how you're gonna match that, but we'll work that out.
yeah, particularly they offered to, get it clearly out of the buffer type of thing, so they could move it up 3 feet, and we'd know it's out, and that's just the demarcation
Use
right.
your
line.
kilometer.
Close enough.
What's that?
We'll use your kilometer.
Perimeter.
It's almost if we took it from where it
Perimeter.
indicates gate and did a
Wow, do we
straight
still
line
have
back to
those?
that corner.
Yeah, just show me a sketch how you plan on doing it, so I can check it
I'll
out.
develop that.
That'll
Good.
suffice.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
No.
No.
Anything on the resolution? All set? So with that amendment, I guess which would be another condition, number 10, is there a motion to adopt the resolution
As amended,
as amended?
so moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you
very
very
good.
much.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
No, you may have it.
I would-
Have a good
So,
We have, what, one more thing?
Well, we have this thing that was added.
Yeah.
do you still have a planimeter?
Yes, we have a very nice planimeter. It's a electronic, digital. I
You
used to
don't
have the
have the
ones
old
where you
one
had to
where you-
read it with the vernier.
Remember the old ones where you'd have to put it down and you,
Oh, absolutely. I used to work those all the time.
you still have a Leroy machine?
Excuse me?
A Leroy
Leroy
machine,
machine.
yes.
I used to use it all the time.
Yeah. Hey, I remember using a planning
We're
board
now
to do
high-tech.
surveying. A board.
That was highly skilled.
Yeah, a drafting board.
No, not a drafting board, an actual board that you used, to, you know, what George Washington used or something like that. And you did it, and it got everything to come within, you know, a half a foot.
Matter of fact, they had a keyboard.
You still have
Where
a
it
power
type?
wig?
I do. You want to borrow it?
We wonder why no one watches.
This is why no one comes.
All right, moving
We
on. We have a
one more
time
item.
extension.
We got one more. Exactly. We
have a time
request-
extension.
We have a request for an extension for the Campfire Club of America,
I
right?
thought you meant the planning board.
So it's an application for a wetlands permit, steep slope permit, tree removal permit, stormwater pollution prevention plan, 230 Campfire Road. Bob, Sabrina, there are no issues, problems, right, on this extension? We're okay with it?
Extension is just to get a plan into.
Into Bob,
Correct, for
Right.
for approval for your signature.
right,
And it is a joint planning board, zoning board signature.
okay.
Hmm.
Very good.
So they came in today and we
Yes,
talked about it,
yep.
which is why it is
Here
a
tonight.
short notice.
Very
So-
short notice.
So we apologize.
Not a problem.
No, keep these short things coming. This is great.
Is there a
Makes the
motion
agenda
to
look
grant
full.
the requested extension? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion to close the meeting tonight?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Wow.